How long have you been working with the Ihop chain now?
13 years total.
13 years total?
13 years total. 6 years as a manager.
6 years as a manager. And so during that 6 years, have you seen a lot of things come and go in the industry and a lot of changes that have happened?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day there's something new.
And as when we introduced the Packer drum to you, you were probably a little skeptical at first, weren't you?
Yes, yes. Well, with every new thing that you're given, you also make sure that, you know, you get it right for one, and it's when you break the norm, it kind of throw people off a little bit. When you're used to doing something for 13 years, and
yeah,
you have to change.
So processing your trash a certain way, you were kind of leery. Would this even work? I don't believe this is going to do what everybody's been saying. There's just no way it's going to help me like they're saying, right?
Right. I just didn't really think of trash as an issue.
As a problem? You never
Right.
saw it? Yeah.
I didn't really know or even think that there was something different we could do with trash. I just thought trash was trash. You put it in a bag, you throw it outside, you see the flies, you spray them, and you keep on going. And it's just something that was always like that.
So your 13 years of experience taught you that that was the only way at first.
Right. Exactly.
Now we introduced the Packer drum into your restaurant. How many changes did you see come about, and what were they?
Well, for one, it's a lot more convenient. It's easier for the employees because we have one thing here as opposed to 6, 7, 8, 9 different things. We put it in one thing. It's organized. We keep the place clean. We make 1 or 2 trips a day, 2 maximum, as opposed to 5 or 6 on the weekend when we get tons of trash. And we can't keep it here because
it was causing a mess.
Pests and the mess on the floor and boxes and bags in front of the front door. I'm sorry, that door, which is an issue, a safety issue. But this
changed all that, and it changed everything. All of a sudden, you got back of the house, and now you've got some room to manage your restaurant. Now, because you manage your trash differently, you're seeing your business is easier to manage also, your restaurant, right?
Right. I have more time to focus on the front as opposed to worrying about somebody coming back here and hurting himself because it's too much, or me stopping to open the door to have people empty trash when I need to be taking care of business in the front.
Taking care of your gas.
Right, exactly.
That's neat. So you all of a sudden saw a lot more efficiency and time for you as a manager because you're not solving problems, you're focusing on your business and your sales.
Exactly. And we're able to keep the trash here, and it's nice and it's neat and it's in the proper place, and when I have time and we're slow, open the door. It takes about 5 minutes.
That's
almost pretty much. Even with the ladies, and I have a few ladies here.
And they can do it with no problem?
No problems.
Easy.
Absolutely no problems.
How many bags or trash containers do you think they're compressing or putting into one right now of your team is doing of your trash? Are they putting in 3, 4 containers?
3 or 4, sometimes 5 even.
Really?
You can get 5 in there.
That's great.
And it's still below the line, the fill line. I mean, if you can imagine 4 or 5 bags that's not in there, it has to be somewhere, you know, and more than likely it's on the floor because the trash holder here, what do we call this?
Yeah, the trash can. Yeah, the Rubbermaids or the trash cans.
They won't hold that much, so they have to go somewhere, and normally it's on the floor, which
then it was creating a mess and a slip and fall potential. What about like your health inspections? Have you noticed that this in the last 4 or 5 months now has kept your restaurant to where you don't have to worry about a pop-in inspection?
Right, exactly, yeah. That's not a pressing issue anymore as it was before. We would have to constantly be trying to get it in and out, 3 or 4 times a day. Also, too, we don't like to keep our back doors open. We try to open our back doors as little as possible.
Right.
You know, once or twice a day.
Safety? For
safety reasons.
Okay.
Safety reasons, theft reasons, those type of things. Now that I only have to do it once or twice, I know exactly when I'm going to do it.
Okay.
When I come in the morning, like from the previous day, we can get it out. In the evenings, before I leave, we get it out, and that's it. I know exactly when it's coming in, so that also is a plus.
That's nice that it gave you that much control out of something you thought was uncontrollable.
Right.
And you kind of saw that when you went to another store. And explain kind of what happened. You went to one of your other restaurants that didn't have the package drum. what was your mindset, or what did you think once you saw it the old way after several months of doing it this way?
My first thinking was, oh my God, this is such a primitive way of doing this. You know, this is such a it's messy, it's unorganized. It doesn't look as sanitary for a restaurant to have, you know, and that's only because I know different. Before it was okay because that's all I knew, but then when I saw that there was a different way to do it, it didn't look restaurant-like. It didn't look like that was the best way to run a restaurant.
So you think now, obviously having this experience of 4 or 5 months with the package run, that you've actually increased your restaurant sanitation to where you think the old way is, wow, how could we even run a restaurant that way without it?
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's difficult to run a restaurant that way.
Pretty much. Because, I mean, there's a fly issue. The flies, I have no issues with flies or anything there.
At all.
Period. I mean, I don't, because I don't open the back doors much, so they don't get in.
Okay.
So there is no junk on the floor for them to eat.
So they're not attracted to it, so there's no mess.
Right.
I see your floor is absolutely immaculate. I mean, this is amazing. And I remember when we first brought it in, you were struggling with trying to keep a restaurant. Being a manager, I saw it's difficult when you got bags dripping, and they're so thin. So it's working for you from a cleanliness standpoint. You're noticing that you're not cleaning as often too, probably, from a time perspective?
Right. We don't have to put as much time into cleaning back here.
Okay.
You know, that's refocused to the front where
the guests
it's more beneficial. Right?
Yeah, and the guests are seeing it. So have you noticed an incremental change in front of the house because your employees have more time to manage the front versus cleaning up and doing the back?
Yes. Absolutely. My guys that clean the restaurant, they have more time focusing on the front, focusing on the dining room and the kitchen. They don't need to be back here.
That's awesome.
You know, we don't make money back here. We make the money in the front where the customers are. And that's where they're there.
That's huge. That's huge. I mean, and when you can have a quality standard up in the front, you're going to get hopefully more return customers, and that's where, like you said, the money's made and the image and the presence is.
Right.
And so by investing in this, even though it's all paid for out of waste cost savings, you're going to make a huge return on the waste cost savings. What are you thinking that maybe you can increase sales and eventually, incrementally keep your employees out there where the real money's made,
Right.
keeping that clean?
Right. Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
neat.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, we appreciate all your advice and support on it. And did you notice also that your dumpster odors and cleanliness went up from using the system, which was kind of
I have no odor.
not at all in the dumpster. Wow.
No odor. There's no
flies.
fear for the odor to go. The bags are so thick, nothing comes out of the bags. And you keep the dumpster door closed, you have no odor. There's no reason to have any odor.
And you had flies before that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had flies just because that's what flies do.
They live in it. They live in that stuff. That's their food and their sleeping place.
Right. So we're taking away from the flies. So the flies are having a bad time here.
They left.
Yeah.
They're
at some other store that doesn't have this machine.
Thank you. And when your team looking at the overall savings and everything, would you recommend this for other restaurants within your team if it was to save enough money and put money back in your bottom line and as a useful tool?
Absolutely. We're in the business of making money, and if there's a tool that can help us get there, I don't see why not. I actually don't see a negative with this. I don't see why it wouldn't be something that everybody would want to do. It's cleaner. It cuts down on their labor because you don't need to spend a half an hour emptying garbage, just 5 minutes.
That's amazing.
So the savings, if it's for the savings reason, absolutely everybody should at least try it.
Yeah.
I don't see negatives with it.
That's great. Well, and if you were to, as a manager, I know you're very involved with your P&Ls, if you were able to pay $125 a month for a system like this to save you $300 on trash, would that be something that you'd look at doing?
Why not?
Yeah, why not? Exactly. Yeah, and then get all the other benefits too. We kind of joked around, but if the waste hauler gave you this here today and said, "Here, take this equipment," but we're going to discount your trash because of the bill, because it's the little bit smaller trash and everything, you'd be like, "Give me more of them. I'll put them in any store I'm in," right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's the thing is, and like you said, it was that 4 or 5 months that you got to see the differential between the other stores. So
yeah. I think this would be the proper way to go.
Yeah.
If we're talking about keeping the restaurant clean and keeping things going more smooth, having a little bit more control over opening the back door, insect problem, cleanliness, refocusing the staff to the front where we're needed as opposed to back here picking up trash. This would definitely be a good, it would be a wise decision to make in my.
That's great. Well, we appreciate your time and talking trash with us and everything. And we appreciate, yeah. And so, thanks.